tell us, why are you here?
We need to talk about scheduling town meeting. Town meeting needs to be set very soon, probably within the first week and a half or so of November. Because in order for us to do the recount, to set the tax rate, the budget has to be balanced. And as you recall, we got less on our cherry sheet than what we budgeted in May. So in order to actually set a tax rate and be able to send out the next set of bills, we have to balance our budget. Otherwise, the State Department of Revenue will not authorize our tax rate.
And we have, in fact, figured a way to balance the budget between the Selectmen and the Finance Committee and the School Committee. We've had numerous discussions on those issues, and so this would be an official setting where the townsfolk could see the details of it and hopefully agree with us in the proposed methods of making the budget balanced. Sir?
Sure. I'll have a follow-up on this too. One of the things, because any special town warrant has to be posted 14 days in advance, and to give people enough lead time so they can take the warrant articles, have people type them up. If we need a legal opinion on anything, we have to have enough lead time. I know there has been some discussion centered around when would be the appropriate date. And so one of the discussions, given the timing of holidays and everything, was a consideration for Tuesday, November 10th. The reason, it is Tuesday the 10th, right? Mm-hmm. The reasoning is because in order to really maximize the number of people to be there, one of the excuses has always been, my kids have to go to school. Well, the next day there is no school.
Because Wednesday, November 11th is Veterans Day, which is always a holiday regardless of what day of the week it is.
So, I mean, by putting that in, I think what we're doing is we're at least taking out that reason why I can't attend. So it would be my suggestion that we look at that date to go forward rather than the Monday the 9th. If you really look at every attempt should be made to get people there, this is the one way of doing that. Plus, it also, as Ms. Panto said, we really have to get our books in order so that we can set the tax rate.
Does that meet with your timeline?
Yes.
My question is in regards to certified free cash. I know usually around this time we're starting to get some inklings back from the Department of Revenue. Where do we stand in regards to that?
We don't have the inklings yet, but the reporting is together and actually went in the mail today.
Okay.
So we will probably have that, I'm guessing, within 10 days. I'm guessing.
Okay.
Right. But realistically, it should be
Assuming
before
there
the
aren't any huge questions or problems, which there shouldn't be.
We're not expecting any surprises from that exercise.
In which direction?
Yeah.
In either direction.
Yeah.
Well, we're not expecting more money or less money. We're pretty,
Right.
we're fairly confident in those numbers.
Time?
Well, what I was looking at, because we don't have a special before the annual as we do, there's several things here. I'm hoping that this discussion, as far as the warrant articles, we have several things, or I should say one or two very important things for the town that I believe we need to go forward with. So I really don't want to swamp this agenda. I think by really narrowing the focus of what the discussions are, we'll have more people showing too. By looking at this, by going on the 10th and realizing that, I hope we realize we don't want to go out in a spendthrift over the next few weeks, is I would like to see a drop dead date of Thursday, October 15th at 4 o'clock for all the submissions of the articles. But getting back to Ken's point, the idea of typically we have the meetings at 7:30. Would the board have a problem if we moved it to 7? Again, one of the excuses I always hear, it's too late. Well, if we don't have the special before the annual, if we have it for 7, and it's a focus group with very few warrant articles, with no school the next day, there shouldn't be any
Sounds
excuses.
You're okay with that?
Oh, sounds good, yes.
I think it makes perfect sense. Obviously, one of the things that will probably be on that warrant would be the library.
Right.
And obviously, that's gonna generate discussion. So I think that moving it up a half an hour certainly ties into what Mr. Reardon indicated is, and if there, we know there's gonna be debate, and frankly, obviously, there will be quite a bit of debate on the town floor. The earlier we have it, the earlier the whole entire meeting will finish. So hopefully that will encourage more people to attend.
All right, so I need a motion
Sure.
to set the date and time for the special town meeting.
So your first motion will be I move that the board set the time for the special town meeting for November 10th, 7 PM in the Veterans, now this was the other thing, is if we're talking about a large crowd, should we ask the school department if the gymnasium is available?
That is the most significant concern that I have. The business that Jill is bringing to your attention tonight absolutely needs to be voted. And if we had a greater crowd than we could accommodate in the auditorium, there's a chance that we could lose the whole meeting, and that would delay our meetings in town hall, which would be devastating. If we put enough planning into this and say to the school department, is there any way that we could have that gym? I think that's the place that we should schedule them.
Well, I think we could certainly, in tonight's meeting, set the date and time and the place being the Belchertown High School. And when we finally post the official notices on the various places throughout the town, which must be done sometime between now and then, but 14 days earlier, perhaps we'll have a better sense of that specific room within the high school. But for today's purposes, a motion to set the special town meeting to November 10th at 7 PM at the Belchertown High School, I think satisfies legal criteria.
Okay.
So I heard a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
I heard
There's a couple of-
further discussion on the motion. I think it's wise to say out loud and repeat what Ms. Reardon has said, is that this is not an open call for a variety of warrant articles for this meeting. That the primary purpose is to make sure we can pay our bills, make sure we can balance our budget so that we can submit our bills to our townsfolk, and to address the library issue and what that means. I don't know of anything else that's critical that would bubble up the top. We don't have anything in the open folder that needs to come up.
No, we've had one inquiry about a road acceptance and
About what?
a road acceptance, which I don't think it would be
You're gonna
hard
argue?
waiting until May.
You're gonna have a hard time getting Sharon to hear that motion, I think. So the motion's been made and seconded, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously.
One more motion, and this is to set a deadline for the submission of warrant articles to town administrator's office by Thursday, October 15th at 4 PM.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded for a closing of warrants to be submitted by the 15th at 4 PM. Discussion on that motion. Okay with
It
that?
certainly fits within the criteria. That's the general law, so it's fine.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously.